Imam Amin Hasan Islahi, while explaining this argument of the Quran, writes, now the question is that if a person has a guardian within his conscience which chides him on every evil that emanates from him, then how can it be imagined that man will not be held accountable for his deeds? Why would he go scot-free if he spends a life in whatever manner he wants to while negating the calls of his conscience? If a person will not be held accountable for his deeds, then where has this chiding conscience come into him from? If his Creator is unconcerned about the good and evil which emanates from him, then why and from where has he given him the feeling of being elated at a good deed and being pricked by his conscience at a bad one? Then from here another question arises. If God has set up a miniature court of justice in every person, then why will he not set up a greater court of justice which will hold the whole world accountable for good and evil which emanates from it, and not reward and punish people accordingly? Any person who deliberates on these questions while disregarding his desires will reach the conclusion that the very being of a person bears witness that he has innate knowledge of good and evil. He will not be left unaccountable. There definitely shall come one day when he will be punished for any misdeeds he may have done and be rewarded for his good deeds. To remind a person of this very day, the Almighty has placed a miniature court of justice within a person's soul so that man does not remain indifferent to it, and if ever he becomes indifferent, he can catch a glimpse of it, merely reflecting on his inner self. It is this very reality which sages have taught us by saying that man is a miniature world, and within this miniature world there is a reflection of the greater world. If a person has a true comprehension of his own self, he is able to comprehend both God and the hereafter. Amin Hasan Islahi, Tadabbur-e-Quran, Volume 9, page 80. The second thing is the nature of man, by virtue of which he likes justice and dislikes injustice. No doubt, in spite of this dislike, he still perpetrates injustice, but this is not because he is not able to distinguish justice from injustice, or that he likes the latter. It is rather because he loses his balance and poise by being overcome with desires and emotions. All of us know that a person may want to steal from another person's house, but he can never like someone to steal from his own house. He may kill someone, but he would never like that anyone take his life or that of his relatives. Similarly, a person may be dishonest in weighing his merchandise for others, but would never be happy if others are dishonest with him in this regard. If one asks these thieves, killers, and swindlers about their actions, they would confess that each of these is a crime and should be eliminated. Thus, no one in his senses can regard good and evil to be equal, or that both be dealt with in the same manner. The Quran presents these facts and asks the rejectors of the Day of Judgment, أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ? Are we to deal with those who submit to us as we deal with those who transgress? What is the matter with you? What is this judgment you give? Surah number 68, verses 35 and 36. The third thing is the incompleteness found both in man and in this world. From whatever aspect these two are seen, it is clearly evident that in every single part of theirs, the great power and wisdom of their Maker is apparent. In everything, great meaningfulness, matchless order and sequence, unrivaled mathematical perfection and symmetry, extraordinary thoroughness, and immense beauty of creativity astounds one's intellect. On the other hand, if one tries to understand both of them in their totality, one sees great incompleteness and lack of purpose in them. Consequently, man observes that everything through its very existence proclaims that it has been created for him, but nothing in this world tells him his own purpose of creation. Also, one is not able to see any system which judges if human beings have or have not fulfilled the purpose, if ever there is one, for which they have been created. Man is innately aware of the fact that he should be held accountable for each favor he has been blessed with. However, he has been left in this world without any such accountability. Thus, when he dies, he calmly leaves this world without giving any account of these favors. To make people adhere to truth and justice is the need of mankind, but man is not able to see any real motive for this in himself or in the world around him, then the circumstances of this world negate what his conscience desires. It is his natural instinct that justice and oppression and good and evil must be discriminated. However, in this world, this natural instinct of his is flouted in the worst possible way. Thus, there are many people who have left this world without being rewarded for their good deeds, and there are many who have left this world without being punished for their evil deeds. Contrary to all other creations, like plants, animals, and inorganic objects, man possesses an awareness of the future. However, this future always eludes him. Hidden within man are great desires, but seldom are they fulfilled, and often his wishes do not materialize. So much so, the intense desire of observing God running the affairs of this universe, once he professes faith in him, is never fulfilled in this world. Man is not able to go to the extent his imagination can take him. He wants to pierce the skies, penetrate the earth, and infiltrate into his own soul as far as he can. To satisfy his ambitions, he has tried to explore the skies and split the atom. However, all this effort has only proven to him that he cannot realize all the potentials of his imagination. He is always searching for a world in which he can liberate himself from the sorrows and hardships of this world and from its limitations, and live a life of happiness and contentment. This desire is found in him since time immemorial. However, he is never able to obtain this sought-after world of his. On the contrary, he takes to his grave these cherished desires. Every single word which a person speaks and every single deed that emanates from him are being safely recorded so that they can be recalled whenever required. All his good and evil thoughts are also permanently noted. The passage of time and change in circumstances do not affect these records. However, what is the purpose of this arrangement? Nothing in this world answers this question. The personality of a human being has an existence of its own, which is independent of his corporal being. The innumerable cells from which his body is made keep dying and are replaced every now and then. However, his real personality always remains intact. His knowledge, memory, ambitions, habits, and thoughts all remain the same and are in no way altered by this cycle. Then where does this personality come from and where does it go? We are unable to answer this question too. Millions of planets, much larger than the planet man inhabits, exist in the universe, but there appears no trace of any life in them. Then why have they been created? Man does not know. All these facts are irrefutable. After this, there can be only two possibilities. First, to regard this world as a meaningless place and come to the conclusion that it is the workmanship of a merry maker and nothing more. Secondly, to understand it in combination with the day of judgment and that eternal kingdom of God which has been so vehemently affirmed and declared by his prophets. What is the verdict of intellect? Every person can comprehend. The Quran says, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقُّ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ رَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْكَرِيمِ. So do you think that we have created you in vain and that to us you would never be returned? So very lofty is the status of God, the true King. There is no God but Him, the Lord of the glorious throne. Surah number 23, verses 115 and 116. At another place, the Quran says, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ لَوْ أَرَدْنَا أَن نَتَّخِذَ لَهْوًا لَأَتَّخَذْنَاهُ مِن لَّدُنَّا إِن كُنَّا فَاعِلِينَ. And it was not for gaming and sport that we created the heavens and the earth, and all that lies between them. Had it been our will to create a game, we could have found one near at hand if we wanted to do this. Surah number 21, verses 16 and 17. Imam Amin Islahi, while interpreting these verses, writes, mentioned here is the reason that if after this world there is no day of judgment, it has always remained in existence and will continue like this forever, whether anyone does virtuous deeds or bad ones, or does oppression or justice, and his Creator is unconcerned about the good and evil found in it, then this only means that he has created an amusement to entertain himself. He will amuse himself with it till whatever time he likes, and when he gets bored, he will just end it and create some new amusement for him for his enjoyment and pastime. The verse therefore stresses that the heavens and the earth and what is between them have not been created for amusement. From the very way it is, this world bears testimony to the fact that it has been created by a just, wise, and merciful being. It is not an object of amusement for a merrymaker or a warring place of supernatural beings or a theater of a deity. In fact, every single object of this wisely created world bears witness that its creator has created it with a great purpose, and it is an obvious requirement of his justice and wisdom that a day come when this purpose is fulfilled. Amin Hasan Islahi, Tadabbur-e-Quran, Volume 5, page 132. This is the judgment passed by sense and reason. However, as soon as one gets to know that the hereafter exists, all these questions get an answer, and all voids are filled, and all known phenomena are explained, and everything becomes set in its place. The world now seems to be complete, which in the absence of the hereafter it did not. The real grandeur of this universe is thus revealed. Man can now die with the certainty that whatever he has not been able to obtain before his death, he will definitely obtain it after his death. He too will be blessed with the certitude and the calm which is found in the universe. He will be given an eternal world in which he can realize his innumerable and unending desires, and where, on the other hand, there will be the eternal paradise of pleasure, finesse, and meaningfulness, and on the other, the fire of hell, where the evil will endure their punishments. As a result, the relationship between this world and the next is that of what each member of a pair has with the other. Consequently, if causes have been joined with effects, potentials with their devices, natures with their intentions, and souls with bodies, and as a result are presenting a meaningful whole, then the hereafter too is one member of the pair of which the other member is the herein, and both complement one another and become meaningful. The Quran states, وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَا زَوْجَيْنِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. And we have made pairs of everything so that you may take heed.